Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to this week's Golden Wind Geekout. I'm your host, Danny. Got my co-host, Ryan, with me.
Hello.
And we're here to talk about episode 24, Notorious B.I.G. Actually, before we talk about the episode itself, if you guys have been keeping up with our Twitter, you probably have heard about this already, but just in case if you haven't, at least at the time of this recording, I have noticed earlier this week, our Geek Out for episode 22 has been blocked worldwide, and it's because of the footage for the Modern Crusaders ending. So if you remember episode 22, this is when we were first seeing the new intro and the new outro. So it counted for like the reaction and shit, like for whatever reason, it counted that, like the YouTube algorithm, caught it and, content ID'd it. So, I mean, this is not it's not like a major deal with our channel. Our channel's in good standing. We're not going anywhere. But because of this, I've had to re-edit the episode. Probably by the time you guys are actually watching this Geek Out, the newly uploaded episode 22, should be up. So if you guys are wondering, well, wait a minute, why the hell are we seeing the Geek Out for 22 again? That's why. I had to re-edit it to not only take out the footage of the ending, I also wanted to play it safe, and I took out footage of the opening as well. So our reactions are gone for that episode, and any other instances where I did show the footage, those have been completely erased. So I reworked the Geek Out. I mean, it shaved 3 minutes off the video, so it's not that huge of a deal, but figured I'd explain all of that just in case if you guys, were out of the loop on that one.
Yeah, it's a bit of a shame that this happened, for the first time throughout this entire series of Golden Wind Geekouts that we've done, but, what can you do,
I know, it's it's perfectly fine when we're reacting with the regular clips, and, technically we didn't even get hit with the opening. Which is weird because I remembered, X-Forts, who's a really big JoJo YouTuber. He did a dissection of the new opening, going into details, all the little Easter eggs, and all that other shit. And yeah, same thing happened to him. Content ID'd, taken down, his channel's still okay, but he ran into the same problem we did. It was just for him, it was the opening. For us, it was the ending. So that's where it's so weird. And, and he brings up that point where it's it's so weird that we get hit with it, and yet videos where literally all they've done is just literally rip the opening and the ending, done nothing with the footage whatsoever, and just put it up on YouTube for everyone to see it. Yeah, we can see those, no problem. But, but we got hit even though, we had our commentary over it.
Yeah, which is lame.
YouTube algorithm, what can I tell you? It's like, you can only play the game for so long.
Yeah, really.
Alrighty, but enough of that. Let's actually talk about the episode itself. So, first off, the first thing I noticed, I'm really sad that we did not get this scene. So in the manga, there's a scene where, the crew, they are at the airport, and they're just approaching the airport, and they come across, these two security guards. And they're saying, hey, this is private property, what are you doing if you're trying, to, get tickets and stuff, you got to go through the airport. You can't be going through on the runway. And, Bruno just comes up to these guys just nonchalantly, and he's just like, I'm sorry, I've never been to this airport. I don't know where I'm going, but I'm looking to steal a plane. Do you know where I can find one? And the guards are just like, wait, what the fuck? And the next thing you see, their hands are actually, zip cuffed into their guns. So it's and, Bruno, he just, leads them over, to, some nearby pole and, cuffs them to the pole. He's like, don't worry, I'm not gonna hurt you guys, and you'll be compensated for your troubles, but, I really need a plane. It's just so goddamn funny, because he just approaches this thing so nonchalantly, and everybody else is just like, okay, we found a plane, let's go. So it's I really wish that we had that scene, just because of how funny it was.
But yeah, it's really bizarre too because like throughout the entirety of this anime, we've been seeing like yeah, aside from the many beat for beat episodes we've had, we've also had many instances where David Productions went out of their way to add additional content that you wouldn't normally see, when you read the manga. I think it's safe to say this is the first time that David Productions like actually cut something from the manga and they didn't even bother putting it in the anime. So yeah, that's what threw me off when you brought up, oh wait a minute, how come they didn't have the security guard scene in there?
Yeah, it's like I think like I'm sure there's been maybe like a couple of times where it's like some things have been omitted, but they were like so minor that it's like you're not gonna really notice it that much. It's not like an entire scene. And I mean, yeah, it's a very brief scene because it just goes right into where the episode actually begins, where it's like, yeah, we already see they're at the airport. They've secured a plane. Giorno's checking it. Abakio's using Moody Blues to rewind to become a pilot that knows how to work the plane. All of that still happens in the manga. It's just we miss out on like this one scene that I think took like a couple of like maybe like 2 pages at most or something. So I was just like, again, it was like, I wish we had that scene just because it was just so goddamn funny. And considering like some of the heavy shit that we've seen just in these past 2 episodes and just how heavy the remainder of this part's going to be, it's like, I could use a chuckle.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. I strongly agree.
Yeah, so it's like, it's a shame. But, again, what can you do? So it's like, so then we get to, our next, stand user. So, okay, so this guy, he's not name dropped in the anime, and granted, he really wasn't in the manga either. The only way we got his name was, like stand stats that Araki likes to put in between manga chapters. And, even here, like, halfway through the episode, when we got the stand stats, it still kept everything in the dark because we haven't really identified the new stand. So, of course, the user's not going to be identified either. But Butterball here, his name is Carne. So that being said, I'm actually going to pull a page from Crunchyroll, and I'm going to call him for what he really is. Butterface McChunkyfuck.
Oh, I thought I was gonna leave it at like just Butters or something.
Nah.
like Butters for short.
Yeah, no. Butters is too good for this guy.
I don't know what you're trying to do in those big guys.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, no. I mean, it's like, yeah, this guy, yeah, like I said, Butterface McChunkyfuck. But, that's what I'm calling him, but his real name is Carne. And, yeah, literally, this is all he does. He just shows up on the runway just to get shot. So, don't get too attached to this guy. But then, pretty much the rest of this episode is, it's pretty much like a beat for beat episode. And this is the weird thing with this stand, because as Giorno mentions, the stand operates so radically different from, pretty much every stand fight we've seen, like even like as far back as part 3. Like, this is a stand ability that activates when the user dies.
Right. Yeah. Honestly, I think it was like even before. I think it was like last week. I completely forgot how Notorious B.I.G's stand actually worked or whatever. And lo and behold, oh yeah, we see Mista shoot down this guy point blank or whatever the hell. And yeah, all hell breaks loose. It's like, ooh.
Yeah. Like, it literally becomes, like, a horror movie,
Yeah. I mean, it's like, folks, Danny says it becomes more of like a horror thing, but she's not just saying that. It's like, we'll get to it when we get to it, but she is not wrong when she says that.
Right. But it's like, because, like, with this episode, like, of course, we get, like, the little brief scene between Bruno and Trish where, she's talking about, where exactly her mom told her that she met the boss, which is in what was it called, like Cala di Volpe or something, like it, basically a resort that is in Sardinia, because she had mentioned before her mom was on vacation in Sardinia, which was where she met the boss because he is a native of Sardinia. And I doesn't really say just like how long she was there, but I mean, she was only there for a vacation, so it was not very long. But clearly, a passionate fling happened because we have Trish here. But so we at least know that's like okay, Sardinia. Yeah, it's a pretty big island, but it's like at least they have like an actual like location, so it's like they're not actually going to Sardinia blind. But yeah, but then pretty much after this scene, like, yeah, like Ryan said, all hell breaks loose. We get this whole scene where, like, Giorno's hearing, like, noise in, like, this little portable, like, freezer or something that's, like, right in front of him. And, he's freaking out. They open it, and they see there's the finger bones from Butterface McChunky Fuck. And, it started with 3 fingers, and then suddenly a 4th one shows up. And
yup,
yeah,
4
we
of
all
them.
know. Yeah, no. Don't ever bring up 4 in this part. You know that's bad news.
Yup. Yup, that sounds about right.
Yeah. And then it's like, yeah, so then it's like, we get that scene. They get, Bruno unzips the freezer out of the plane. I do gotta say, I did like, again, this was in the manga, but I did like the reaction where, he's saying, everybody hold on to something because, the air pressure could easily fling them out of the plane. But he zipped the hole so goddamn small and did it so fast that he's like, oh, I guess there really was no need to hang on to something. The look on Mr. Narocha's face. It's like, Bruno, don't scare your children like that.
Yeah, that was great. Yeah, again, it's
come
like
on, you're a better mother than that.
Yeah, it's like I don't recall seeing those exact expressions, when we initially read the manga. But it's like looking at how they were in the anime. It's like okay, yeah, that was just fantastic.
Yeah. So it's like that was good. And then we get the scene with the writing on the wall, which I am so sorry for you anime only watchers. If only just because for whatever reason, Crunchyroll has decided to not actually subtitle the writing, which you think you'd want to, considering, these are very creepy messages that Giorno is seeing written on the wall. And yeah, if you can't speak Italian, you got no idea what the fuck is going on and why is Giorno freaking out so much.
Yeah,
so it's like,
really.
Crunchyroll, why would you not subtitle that?
Yeah, it's kind of odd in a way, and I say that because it's like there have been like millions of instances where we would have a shot of like, I don't know, like maybe a traffic sign or like the sign of like a billboard or like something on a window or a store or something in a completely different language, but yet Crunchyroll is able to just splice in the subtitle of the name of like the location or the sign or whatever just right above the initial name in the original language and such. So yeah, it's like, yeah, it's weird because like you would think they would do the exact same thing here, even though this is I imagine this is Italian we're talking about here. It's like I know Crunchyroll is known for mostly like just subtitling like language like in the original Japanese or whatever, but it's like okay, what was stopping them from doing so with the Italian wording right there?
Right, and it's like yeah, and like I said, it's especially because, with what exactly is being written on the wall. Like, okay, hang on. I'm gonna actually pull up the manga chapters from JoJo's Colored Adventure Team, which I'm pretty sure is a, pretty good rough translation. So it's like, just to give you guys some context, like just what was it that Giorno was actually seeing being written on the wall and why he was freaking out so much.
Yeah, it's like hell. It's like the translations like the color team probably did with the manga probably did a much better job than Google Translate. That's for damn sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So like the first one, where Giorno makes the comment about pizza. Yeah, that message, it pretty much said, I want to eat pizza margarita, which, you know, FYI, for those of you who have never heard of a pizza margarita, which I would imagine should be, yeah, you should be able to see that relatively easily, if only just because, pizza margarita is actually somewhat commonplace. It's just pizza with like tomatoes, cheese, and basil. But that's what he said. That's what it says. It's like it just says, "I want to eat pizza margarita," and that's where Giorno makes that comment where he's like, you know what? Yeah, I really wish that I could just go back to Naples and have some freaking pizza. But then when he starts looking up on the wall, so some of the messages say like, die you idiot. Taking the girls south to the island. Sardinia is where we want to go. So this is when he starts freaking out because he's like, wait a minute. This writing is actually saying where we're going. What is going on? What is his message? How do they know what we're thinking? And, when he opens up the case, or the tray or whatever the fuck that is that's on the wall, it says, the corpse is eating us. Save us. And then, like, you have a big blurb of shit. That pitiful man, he was used and abandoned like an old rag. He died with hatred in his heart. That hatred is his energy. An energy that activated for the first time when he died. An energy that not even he had ever seen before he died. Nothing can kill him anymore because he is a corpse. And then, it says, the enemy's stand name is Notorious B.I.G. Save us, please. Nothing can save us now. And it says, I want to eat pizza from my hometown of Napoli before I die. That's where it's like, again, it's like, kind of going back into it. But that's basically what these messages on the wall are saying. It's pretty much saying, yeah, this is what the stand is doing. So it's like, again, why the hell would you not translate this shit? But, whatever. It's like I said, like, again, I'm just reading these off of the JoJo's Colored Adventure Team translations. So it's like, it may not be exactly like what's been written in the anime, but it's about the closest that we're going to get.
Right. I mean, again, better than nothing, and I think it's safe to say, yeah, definitely much better than like taking what was written like when you watch the actual episode and putting that into Google Translate.
Right. Yeah, and then it's like, and yeah, kind of weird. I don't know. Again, kind of weird that it's Notorious B.I.G. and yet Giorno pronounces as Notorious Big.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's right. He did say it like that. Notorious Big.
He was like, Big? Really? Okay.
It's like Notorious B.I.G.
It's like, nope, not even that. Just they literally pronounced it Notorious Big.
Notorious Big. It's like,
it's like, what can you do? They're Japanese.
Not in a negative kind of sense.
I know.
We're just saying, like, in general.
I know. It's like you can only keep up with the American rock bands and shit for so long before you eventually get one wrong.
That is true. Yes.
Alrighty. So then this brings us to Notorious B.I.G. or the Blob. That's pretty much what it is. Yeah, it's like the Thing, the Blob, like literally that's what it is. Like, so when Giorno had initially touched Butterface McChunky Fox's corpse on the runway just to check that, if he was dead, I was like, yeah, apparently that was the point when Notorious B.I.G., jumped onto Giorno's hand and pretty much hung out there. And then I guess somehow without Giorno really noticing, started writing those weird messages on the wall.
Yeah. And then the next thing you know, like, Giorno looks at his arm, pen, like, scribbling around. Like, it seems like it was scribbling in his arm. he unrolls his sleeve a little bit, and then bam, we see Notorious Big, or B.I.G., this massive blob just eating away at Giorno's arm.
Yeah. And yeah, it's like it just got to that point. Like Giorno had tried to cut the arm off himself, but of course, whatever damage happens to the user can also happen to the stand. So of course, this is also affecting Gold Experience's right arm. So Mister had to shoot off the arm, and then because the bullets were right there, Notorious B.I.G. started eating the bullets. He actually ate like 4 of them. So that's where I was like, so that pretty much took Mista out. So I was like, yeah, no, Mista came very close to getting killed right there. Because it's like, yeah, if Notorious B.I.G. had eaten all the bullets, Mista would have died right there. Because now it's like, I've eaten your stand. I've pretty much eaten your life force. You're dropping dead now. So it's like, it should probably be good fortune, I suppose, in this instance, that only 4 of Mista's bullets died.
You're absolutely right. That was the
It's
next thing
like-
I noticed. Is like, God damn it! First, the 4 fingers in the freezer, and then, of course, you're eating away 4 bullets. It's like God damn it!
4 of them four of them went down. So it's like, bad luck and yet fortunate. So kind of odd there. And then, Narancia ends up going down. He tries to shoot it with Aerosmith, but it caught all the bullets, and then lashed itself onto Aerosmith and practically crushed it. So it's like, yeah, that thing damn near took Narancia out in one hit. And right when it was going for Trish was when Giorno noticed, its tracking ability, which is what I mentioned last week about tracking it by speed. So, even, so that's why I was like, when, Bruno is standing there, not really moving or anything. So that's why he was never targeted. But, like the minute that Aerosmith fired, it went after Narancia. The minute that, Trish ran for the closet, it went after her. And, it took a mood out of the wall for it to change targets to go after Giorno again.
Yeah, which I honestly was not expecting. We get another little quick Buddha battle cry there, so it threw me completely off guard, and I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
It's like, sorry,
go
ahead.
Okay. And it's like, and then, yep, we are pretty much left with this the big moment where it's like, yeah, Giorno cuts off his other hand.
It's like seriously. It's like first it latches onto the first of 2 Giorno's arms or whatever, only to go for the other and eats away at it. It's like I'm telling you, Notorious B.I.G. is like a combination of both the Empress and Yellow Temperance from Stardust Crusaders. We get a stand. We get a stand forming on. We get one stand who forms on one of our heroes' arm, and then with another stand which gets power just from consuming its victim.
Yeah.
The only difference here is like those stand abilities they're not active when you're dead.
Right. And then so as Bruno says, like, this is definitely bad news on Giorno's end, just because, look at how Gold Experience operates. It's like, every time that Gold Experience was, creating life, it was either because it was punching something or it just touched something. Like it was using its hands. It goes by touch. So of course, if Giorno has no hands, Gold Experience has no hands. So that pretty much means, Gold Experience is fucking worthless right now. Like, it can't create life, cannot heal, cannot do a goddamn thing. So that, that's where, that's why, Bruno is like, oh my god, we haven't, he's like, we're in the air, we haven't even made it to Sardinia, and half of our crew is on the verge of death already. So it's pretty much just him, Abacchio, and Trish. And, pretty much as this episode, hits its end, and clearly with what's going to be happening next week, this is Trish's fight. it may have started off where Notorious B.I.G. was going after everybody else, but Trish is the one that has to face this thing on her own.
It's like, remember when we got a glimpse of Trish's stand in the opening? Yeah, it's like, okay, here we are saying, oh, okay, we're gonna get at least one glimpse of her stand in action, before the end of this episode. Turns out that was not the case, sadly enough. It's like, god damn it, they omitted the security guard scene, and we still couldn't get, Trish's stand at the end of this episode. I mean, what the hell? But no,
right.
So it's still safe to say we're gonna get some goddamn Spice Girl all up in this JoJo biz niche next week.
So yes, Trish's stand is going to awaken next week. So it's like, pretty much, the episode next week, it is called Spicy Lady, but of course that is the English translation. The original name is Spice Girl, so it's like, okay, synonyms, we can live with that. And it's like, and of course, if you've played Eyes of Heaven, then you should already be familiar with the name for Trish's stand. But, so pretty much, like, if anything, I think it's pretty safe to say, like, the entirety of this fight is going to be next week. So that's where it's like, because it's like, I mean, technically the fight has already started, but as far as, like, Trish's involvement, that is all going to be next week. Because it's like, it barely so much as, like, started. Like, literally, like, it went into horror film territory, where it's like, she sees, like, this little ball on the wing. Like, she sees something on the wing. Something is on the wing.
Mama, there's a ball on the wing.
Yeah, it's like, we're going in the Twilight Zone. There's something on the wing. There's something tearing up the wing. And then, sure enough, like, you see these things, like, splattering on the windows, and then it manages to creep back into the plane through the hole that, Giorno had made. So it's like,
man.
Like I said, it's going into horror territory, which is, Araki's forte.
Oh, God. Here we have the suspenseful moments, and then a massive thing of thunder just came up out of the fucking blue. Oh god, the tension really is right.
Like,
Jesus!
I mean, like, now this is like going into horror territory.
Yeah, really. It's like, oh god.
Now we're going into Araki territory. Damn, Trish, you guys are freaky.
Yeah, really.
だったらむしろ飛行機は空を動いているわ。早ければ早いほど優先して追いついてくるのよ。今もナイフを落としたからナイフを襲ったんだわ。
Hello. But it's so nuts too, cause it's like, oh man, I hope and pray that I was able to capture in my recording or whatever. But it's like, here we are, like we like Danny and I, like, we were in the middle of watching, like, the very tense moment where Trish notices the ball. She gets the knife that was sticking on the chair, and she makes her way forward into the plane to check out what the hell is going on. Again, when this horrific tension is building. And then out of the freaking blue, this massive loud thing of thunder happens outside, and it actually made me jump. It's like that's just how immersed I was, with this freaking scene and what we were gonna expect when we see more of Notorious B.I.G. And then this happens.
Yeah.
It's like seriously, that was some batshit timing right there. I'm just saying.
Yeah. And then it's like, I'm just saying, okay, I'm just going to call this right now, but considering how they have been merchandising the fuck out of Part 5 at least from what I've seen on Twitter, because it's like so many figures. There have been clothing lines, like, buttons and all this, so much merchandising with part 5 alone. I mean, I'd like to say they've been doing that with all the parts, but part 5 especially has been getting so much goddamn merch. It's freaking crazy. How much do you want to bet? How much do you want to bet that Notorious B.I.G., like the little form that it takes, where it forms like the weird, like striped little helmet and the little hands, how much do you want to bet that that's going to end up a plush?
I'm surprised at the very least they have yet to make a plush of Babyface.
Yeah, really.
It's like, I mean, okay, again, I know Babyface is kind of like, kind of a messed up stand. But even then, it's like, I'm surprised they have not done anything like making merchandising off of Babyface, of all things.
Well, I mean, I would imagine, like, maybe later or something. Like, I know La Squadra has gotten some merchandise, but it's like, I haven't really noticed, like, any, like figures or anything. Like, I haven't really noticed that. Like, La Squadra hasn't gotten a whole lot of merchandise compared to, the main cast, obviously. So it's like, I would expect that, the same thing is going to happen with the Boss's Elite Guard here. So it's like, probably not going to see a whole lot of merchandise for, like Clash and Talking Head. But I don't know. I would just think, like, you got this lump of mass that is, like, striped, and it's got the little eyes, and it's tiny, and it's like, even like when it turned around to Trish, I even went like, hello, like give me like a weird little noise and shit. That's where it's just like, I don't know. It's like, how much you want to bet that thing's going to end up being like a weird demented plush, and people are going to like buy the hell out of that.
Probably.
I mean, they've made plushes out of the main cast, so you can get like Giorno, Bruno, Bacchio, Mista, Narancia, and Fugo. You can get them as plushes. I have not seen a Trish plush. I don't know why. I would totally buy a Trish plush.
It's like, I'm sure everybody is still waiting for the moment where they make a figure and or a plush of Pesci.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. Well, it's like, I know.
Most popular figure plush out of all the lineup.
Again, I know as far as the main cast goes, like, I know they have been making new figures for at least the main characters. I know those have slowly been getting released. It's like, I think like you can actually order them off of the Crunchyroll store. I've been very, very tempted, so it's like, I do know that, yes, there is new figures that are coming out along with all this merchandise. So it's like, I wouldn't be surprised if somewhere down the line we do get merchandise for La Squadra and, the Boss's Elite Guard. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if we get those. It's just, I don't know. I don't know. Again,
God.
It could be just because I'm fucked up, but I would expect a Notorious B.I.G. plush of all things. Not a figure, a lumpy as fuck plush, like a filled with beanbags or something.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, that's pretty much, that's pretty much it for this episode. So it's like, I think the bulk of everything that we're really waiting for is going to be happening next week. And that's where it's like, I was really hoping we were going to get more, because like I said, like, I do like the Notorious B.I.G. fight, and it's really because, this is Trish's fight. So it's like, this is where it's Trish's time to shine.
Oh, yeah. It's like, it's about damn time.
Yeah, so it's like, dang it. I knew, the bulk of it is probably going to be happening next week, but I was really hoping that we were going to get a little bit more.
Yeah, me too.
But, oh well, what can we do? Alright, I'm trying to think, is there anything else that we might have missed?
Oh, actually, before we go ahead and officially end things off, I should probably throw this out there. Seeing as how I'm fairly certain, Danny will have this, episode, posted, like, on the usual day and such, like, at the beginning of the week. So next week, depending on how things go, the next Golden Week Geek Out everything should be like normal. Like oh, what was it? Episode 24's Golden Week Geek Out or whatever probably will be uploaded like on April 7th or whatnot. Or it could be finished at a much later point. And I say that because out of this recording, tomorrow I'm gonna be out of town, and I won't be back like on the next Sunday that I mentioned. So I'm gonna try to be online, like on the day of episode 24's premiere, and if things go well, then Danny and I should be able to record like everything like what we usually do like on every Friday. But again, if I am unable to do so while I'm on a town, then the Golden Week Geek Out for next week will probably be uploaded at a bit of a later point.
Yeah, because usually I try to get them I try to get each episode uploaded like Sunday or Monday, but it's like we got to play this by ear because we don't know what to expect with Ryan. So it's like it could very well be just going up normal if he finds the time to get on and we can do this. Otherwise, it'll be uploaded a little later. Okay, so then so now is there anything else? Is there anything else that we need to bring up?
No. That's it. We're good.
Alrighty then. Alrighty, regardless of when it is being uploaded, we will see you guys next week for Spice Girl.
Hi, see you then.